Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for tuning in today. I got a special guest. I got a couple special announcements. We're going to have a fun show today. We're kicking off the month of April. This is our second show of the month of April. We're having fun. I got special guests. Like I said, we got Shayla Showcase going on. But first and foremost is Coach Clea, your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker right now. Let me get something up real quick because I need to know what the energy levels are. And I got to get that tag up here. I need to get the energy levels up because I need you guys to go ahead and tag, like, and share. It costs nothing to like. Go ahead, get them likes going, get them going right now. This is going to be an interactive live with the special guests, so keep your comments coming, okay? Sometimes there is a delay. Some on some streams, I may not be able to see them. I do see on a couple faces of YouTube or on the YouTube page. I do see on the Facebook page. I don't see on all the Facebook pages that are on there, but keep them coming, and we will reply back to you even if it is during the replay, all right? But I need to know what the energy levels are. I need to know what the energy levels are like. So if you had a good day today, I need you to put a 1 in the comment section. Put a 1 in the comment section if you had a good day today. And I know everyone who follows this show knows I don't believe in bad days. I like to call them character building days because you can learn from them. You can grow from them. They're necessary for growth. They make you appreciate the outstanding days that much more better. So if you had a quote unquote bad day or character building day, I need to put a 2. Looks like a peace sign. Put a 2 in the comment section if you had a character building day. Put a 2 in the comment section if you had a character building day, and hopefully tomorrow's a better day for you. And if you had what I had, and I know I always say this, but I always love going live with somebody new each and every once a week, each and every week of the month. You know, if I had an outstanding day, I hope you guys had an outstanding day. That's what we all strive for. If you had an outstanding day, I need to put a 0 in that chumpy. Put a 0 in the comment section if you had an outstanding day. Put a 0 in the comment section if you had an outstanding day. It's kind of like this is a bubble, and you're right there in the middle of that bubble, and nothing can penetrate that bubble. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now. Let me go ahead and do it. See if this works. Bam. 0 in the comment section. It showed up. There we go. I had an outstanding day. Keep your comments coming. Let me know what kind of day you had. Keep the likes coming as well. You know, we're already on the Facebook page. If you haven't already done so, check out the Coach Clee page. Hit that thumbs up, that subscribe button. Follow the show. We have a bunch of wonderful announcements and guests on the show. We're also on YouTube. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to that page. And we're also on Anchor. Download the app and you can listen to the podcast if you're a podcaster. Man, you see it scrolling below. Not right now, but later on after the show, check out the website, workwithclee.com. And we had a website upkeeper, Jay Moore. Shout out to him. I know Shayla's going to talk about it a little bit more in depth than I will. But on the website, you'll see, bam, first and foremost, March 4th is the first book I ever wrote. It's a motivational empowerment book on helping you find your own breakthrough. We talk about toxic people, toxic situations. We talk about courage. We talk about taking care of yourself. That's on the book. The website as well. Secondly, No Shade, All Light. It's the second book I co-published with Jason Brown, Clarence Stokes, and Herb Thompson. It's 25 of our favorite quotes and what they mean to us. So it's over 100 quotes in this book with meaning. All right, that's in the book. The book that was made during COVID, #grudge. It's a pocket-sized book. It's a smaller-sized book, but it's 10 tips to LIG, which 10 tips to let it go. We talk about holding on to grudges. We talk about anger. We talk about mistakes. We talk about letting it go. But Les Brown said it best. Les Brown said, if holding on to a grudge is like holding on to a hot piece of coal in your hand and expecting the person you're mad at to get burnt and feel the pain, and instead you're the only one hurting yourself and feeling the pain. Sometimes you just got to let that thing go and start the healing process. And we talk about that in this book. And definitely, last but not least, the one I'm most excited about, the one that's been in, you guys saw the video. Shout out to Damon Buxton, who made the video in the beginning of this live. And so many wonderful guests, previous guests have been on the show. The book, I have my copy right here. The book is not officially out, but it's definitely in there. Yes, I see. Rest in peace, Latasha Fry. Every day is Friday. Shout out to her. She's in the book. Great. Thank you very much, Damar. I appreciate it. Tag, like, and share. But the book is out. It will be available. We're going to have an event real soon. It's a nice looking book, The Lab. It's 43. It's a 43 chapters, 44 highlighted people. Yes, somebody is doubled up in the chapter, and I'll let you figure out who it is. Damon Buxton is a legend. Yes, he is. Former guests on the show, brave souls have decided to put themselves out there and share their highlights and stories through the live themselves are highlighted in this book. This is of course, it's the newest book. It's my latest crave. I'm excited about this book. This will also be on the website too, and we'll talk about more details like that in the upcoming future. All those items are on the website. I want to take a moment real quick to shout out Shauna Mosley again. You know, we got to have the paperweight up here, the security guard. She made the rocks. She was on the show not too long ago. And if you saw the show with Marion Small from Dallas, Texas, his picture, we talked about Basquiat. Shout out to him. His Basquiat style picture arrived. Let me get it on the screen. It's dope too. This is gonna end up on the wall eventually, but I got to get him out there. That's dope. I hope you guys like that. Give him some thumbs up. Give him some shout outs for that. Shayla, I'm going to Shayla's showcase real quick. We're going to talk about some wonderful things. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Shayla, how you doing today?
You there? I'm good, but I love that I was having a whole conversation with you before the show started, and I didn't know if you were just ignoring me to be funny or if you just didn't hear me, to be very honest with you. Just some things I wanted to touch base about if I was supposed to share today, but I'll just do what I want to do and get in trouble later if I have to. Anyway.
The same as last week. Here we go. Let me go ahead and take myself out the
Yeah, please do. Thank you. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to a couple of our sponsors for this week's show. We certainly couldn't do it without any of you, and we will make sure we have all the contact information for all the sponsors that I go over today at the top of this live once we're finished. So our first sponsor, giving a shout out to our former guest, Kiana Palmer. She has ImageZar LLC. If you're interested in work from home opportunities, check out ImageZar LLC through their ImageZar virtual call center. They offer home-based work solutions that empower you to think outside the cubicle. Contact Kiana Palmer, CEO, and check out their website, imagezarllc.com. Then moving on, another former guest, we have the FAR agency. Do you avoid applying for credit? Do you have late payments, collections, or charge-offs? There may be a solution for you. Tiki Farr Walker with the FAR agency. She's board certified and can assist you with restoring your credit. She can even help you get started with restoring credit on your own. You can contact Tiki at www.thefaragency.com or on Instagram and Facebook at The Far Agency, or you can simply give them a call for a consultation, 877-297-9707. Moving on, we have another former guest. I feel like I'll be saying that each time. Kendra Mcdowell with Premier Accounting Associates. If you're an individual that needs accounting support for yourself or your business, contact Kendra Mcdowell, owner of Premier Accounting Associates. She offers services in bookkeeping, accounting, and QuickBooks. She is having an upcoming seminar called Eat the Frog. So if you're a person that procrastinates or put things or tasks off, make sure you check this seminar out. You can sign up for her free success newsletter by visiting her website, premieraccountingassociates.com, or you can call them at 717-477-3284. And last but certainly not least, we have Damon Buxton, who we already talked about with his amazing skills with putting together videos that he did for Coach Clee. So a lot of the videos you're seeing throughout this show are thanks to Damon Buxton. So an amazing connection to have. But he's with D2 Training Solutions. I had the pleasure of sitting on a panel with him, and that's how we got connected. It was over a year ago at the Access and Opportunity Breakfast. And from there, the connection was built. So D2 Training Solutions uses the latest of innovating and cutting-edge technology to create a unique training experience for the end user. At DT Solutions, they take boring out of training, and allow for fun, interactive training that can be done at the user's pace. Damon has done some of, like I said, the amazing videos. And so if you haven't seen them, you'll see them throughout as we go on and continue to grow. And then sometimes we share them throughout the week as well. So if you have interest in connecting with Damon, please make sure you check them out at d2trainingsolutionsllc.com. And that is all I have for this week's Shayla Showcase.
Thank you, Shayla. You did a good job. You did a wonderful job. Let me ask you a real question. I want to give you a shout out also because you did a tremendous job behind the scenes with the lab. And I know you don't get enough credit in the forefront. So I want to go ahead and go public and say thank you for all your hard work, because there's a lot of detail that goes unnoticed that she helped produce this book to the final copy. So I want to give you, what's your favorite part of, or a favorite portion of this book that you helped produce?
That would be chapter 20, which is my chapter. Uh, so no, I think it's just fun doing it and just reading all the stories over and over again. I got to see a lot of these shows actually live, and I was probably here and met the guests when we were doing this in person. But I think just going back through and remembering what people talked about, some of those individuals, like Tony was like the very first one. So it's crazy to go back that far and think about like what people talked about then, how we've evolved from then to now. And so, yeah, just all the details. Everybody that's a part of the book, you are welcome for the details because if it wasn't for me, I'm not sure how your name would have been spelled, things like that. But yes, I love the details. One other thing I want to mention that I forgot to add, this is what I was asking about. So we are hosting an event, a safe event, a pop in, pop out event on April 24th. So more information will be shared about that. Certainly those of you that have already committed and been a part of the book, you'll be able to pick up your book. And then those of you that have not gotten your copy yet or ordered it, you'll be able to do that as well at that event. So be on the lookout for flyers, an event that we'll set up. Again, the intent is to be safe. Safety is first, so it will be an in and out event, but we want to make sure we get pictures and things like that to just remember this new book. Now I'm officially done with Shayla Showcase.
You know, sometimes you just don't give people the mic. Sometimes you just don't do that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got an amazing guest today. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Keep the comments coming. Keep the likes going. It costs nothing to give a like. Throw them likes, throw them hearts up, tag, like, and share. Today in the lab, we got a special guest. He is a husband. He's a father. He's a national traveler. He's a coach. He's a board member. And sometimes I guess you'll understand I reluctantly call him a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring to the podcast right now, Nate Lubold. Nate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I like reluctantly call you a friend. All right, I'll go with that one. But yes, I'm doing well.
Good. So what kind of energy level would you give today? Did you have a good day, bad day? I see Stacy's on. Thank you for tuning in. She said she had a good day today. She put a 1.
Okay. I had a good day. I mean, what could be wrong? I was working from home today. Everybody's good. So no, today was definitely a good day.
Good. I'm happy to hear it. Nate, I know you very well, and I jokingly say reluctantly call you a friend because we have a lot of history as far as either coaching or being on the board members or transferring our kids back and forth to certain athletic events, whether it's football, whether it's wrestling or anything along those lines. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I mean, where do I start? Now, a little bit about myself. So I guess from my background, so my education, I graduated from IUP. I've been in this area my entire life. So I grew up in Hershey. When I finished college, I met my wife Stacy in college. We moved back to the Susquehanna Township area, and this is where our kids go to school. I think for the last trying to think of the time frame, but for the last 17 years, I've been working with a company I've been kind of doing in the world of human services. So I was a therapist. I was an administrator for a number of years. About 6 years ago, I transitioned over and started working for a technology company that my original company had purchased. So I've been there, and we build behavioral health software that you can it's a mission-driven company. So we build software that helps individuals, whether it's behavioral health, coordinated care, or those different environments. In addition to that, I think one of the things that I'm really proud of is I'm certified and I'm a national trainer in something called mental health first aid, which is designed to reduce the stigma associated with mental health and things of that nature. So that is the 45-second snippet of who I am.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I learned a lot. I knew that you dealt with mental health. I knew you did some therapy. I know. Well, I mean, I needed some therapy after a trip that me and you took to New Jersey a few years ago. I think
I recall that. I definitely recall that was a fun trip. It was a great trip, great learning experience. Got to know a lot about other coaches.
Yeah. Well, that was a trip where a lot of coaches bonded as well. You kind of
agree.
We went down as friends and we came back as family.
I would agree with that.
Absolutely. So, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but tell us a little bit about what you do. As far as, because before COVID, I know that you were like the international man of mystery. One day you'd be in Kentucky, next day you'd be, I don't know, like Alabama or Louisiana, then New York.
Yeah.
Go like, tell us, or Baltimore. You travel back and forth to Baltimore, which I really don't understand, because you would be there quite often, and you wouldn't bring any of this stuff back, but instead you got that thing hanging up, and I'm not really feeling that. I see Flex and K's on. He's talking about how you doing, Saran? Thank you for tuning in.
I think if I for me to explain like what I do for a living, that's a loaded question, because I know Stacy and possibly my Elise and Mason are watching, and they really, to this day, have no idea what I do for a living. But
neither do I. I've asked you many times.
Most people don't. So essentially, what I do is, if there's pain points that the world experiences, right? And sometimes it's like, if you have a clinician that is serving children in, let's say, behavioral health, or I work with families, mothers who need assistance both prenatally and then being able to receive services after their children are born. So these things are out there, and these levels of care exist, and they're hard for clinicians and for home visitors. They're very difficult levels of care to be able to serve. So there, a lot of times there's evidence-based practices or clinical methods that are expected to be utilized. And with all of that, they have to collect data. Data is really the driving force behind good treatment these days. So what I do is, I work for a company, and we specialize in building software to meet those needs, building software that allows clinicians, that allows service providers to be able to collect data, to be able to utilize that data to make decisions to support families, to make decisions to support children, but then at the same time, make decisions to support the system as a whole, and make programmatic and system-wide decisions that, again, all benefiting the community, but using data at various levels within care.
Did you ever watch in the 90s?
Did I ever watch what?
The sitcom Martin in the 90s.
I may have, yes. Why?
The only reason I'm bringing this up is because you remind me of his tall, bald-headed friend Tommy, when he explained his job and no one understood what he said, and everyone basically said he ain't got no job.
I mean, I go to work every day, and then in that role, so that's what we do. I don't build software. I'm not a developer. They are the brilliant people that can put these things together. I work as what's called I tend to be a business analyst. I guess my title is director of training, but I basically take the field and what the people in the field, what their needs are, and I translate that back to developers, so the developers can then build products. So that's I understand. And for lack of a better term, that's a dumbed down version that I can understand. There you go.
All right.
I help people build technology.
There we go. Team Mom Victoria is on. She was laughing at one of the comments there. There we go. So let me ask you this. So how have things changed before COVID changed things around dramatically? How are things now that COVID has been in full effect in the things that you do?
Yeah. So I think prior to COVID, like pre-March 13th, 2020 is when my office shut down. So prior to that, thank you, Shayla. Thank you for understanding what I do.
Out of the comments, go ahead and finish your answer.
Thank you.
You skipped over one. CC Ferris is on. She said, I understand, and as a social worker, the software is extremely helpful in our line of work. See, that you got a few people on your side.
I didn't skip over anything. I went to the one that talked about don't mind Cleat. But let me get back to my answer. How did
Yes.
things change? So March 13th was that day where like everything changed. And before that, a lot of what I do is going to different sites, whether I'm traveling to Baltimore, whether I'm in, you know what I mean, whether it's in Kentucky or Texas or California. And it's really meeting individuals that are using the software, meeting with clients that to be able to understand what their pain points are, understand what their needs are, and then how can we utilize technology to overcome those needs, right? And a lot of what I did was very relationship based. So it's meeting with the individuals. So you sit in the room and you talk to them and you learn and you immerse yourself in what they do, because if you do that, then you can better understand how to help them. So at that time, when everything happened with COVID, it shifted my work. Now I will say I'm incredibly blessed in the sense that I was able to maintain my job. I was able to keep working. My entire company was able to go remotely. So the developers went to their homes. My staff we all went to our homes, and we were able to keep the business moving forward. So that is not lost on how lucky myself and my colleagues have been throughout this entire pandemic. But we also had to shift how we do things, right? And we had to reprioritize. And I don't know if this will make sense, but we had to reprioritize the tasks of our jobs, right? Yes, we still had to keep the company moving forward. Yes, we still had to do the day-to-day things that really is the foundation of our business. I mean, you have to continue to make money, right? But I think what shifted was we recognized early on that we also had to be very focused on the needs of not just us and as a company, but the needs of the people that we are serving. Because, right, if you're a clinician out in the field and you're expected to be collecting data, well, yes, you're expected to do your job, but now you're worried about your family, you're worried about your health, and the entire country and everybody that I work with was now, yes, they still have to do their jobs, but they're also worried about their own families and all of their own health. So we really had to shift gears from a company and really begin to focus on not necessarily the technology, but really the people using the technology. Knowing that eventually we would be able to then move back to the kind of the middle where people would feel more comfortable going out in the field and doing their job. But we really took a pause and started focusing on the people and less about the technology.
Gotcha. And I know as far as travel restrictions, I remember deep in the heart of COVID, at least, I watched one of your online seminars.
Oh yeah.
Got to see a different side of you. You know, you had a clear background. You had on a collared shirt. It was buttoned up to the right there, and especially I think your beard was lined up.
I ironed it. I ironed that shirt too.
You ironed the front. You probably didn't iron.
I mean, I ironed right here. I ironed the square.
Or you steamed it at least.
Right.
On there, you said words that I never heard. You like absolutely, and yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and you were very proper, and I was almost impressed until I realized who was actually giving the seminar. But right. I'm making light of the situation just to say that I know you were giving seminars like that, or talks like that, or discussions like that, actually living in person on scene in whatever state you were in, and now you're doing it virtually.
Yeah, so there was a lot of times where that's how we would always like to connect with customers or individuals is I would go to conferences and I would do presentations and I would speak about data. I would speak about some of the trends that are happening within our field. Recognizing that when we weren't able to do that, we had to figure out a way to continue to kind of get that message out there and continue to build our brand and continue to support support the initiatives of the field. So we shifted gears and we had to then go to this webinar based where it wasn't as personal, but it was a great opportunity for us to get a message out. Since then, we've actually kind of evolved that process, and we recognize so many people have Zoom fatigue where they don't want to sit there and be spoken to. So we've gone to more of like a panel discussion format. So we'll, again, delivering the same message, but we bring experts in from different areas of the field that come with a different perspective, and we simply have a conversation and try to then support the field and support the message, doing it that way. Again, hopefully we'll be able to get back out to getting in front of people and going down to taking those trips and making those presentations. But I think until then, we just have to be able to kind of roll with the punches.
Yeah, you do what you can. I know just from doing these lives, I had a lot of fun. I mean, you've been on the show before. You were actually here in the lab physically.
Yeah, yeah. That was one of the higher rating shows that you had, the one that I was on.
Negative.
Right.
But anyway, we'll just but no, I had a lot of fun. I still do have a lot of fun with people actually physically here, because you vibe off of each other's energy.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
And this is This is a good platform. And as you get, it looks pretty fancy and sporty, but it's still it's safe for COVID reasons, but it's not as personal either, because like some of the shots that you like to throw, like the last show that you thought was very high rating. I don't even remember when it was, honestly, but still.
No, I think you had like 300 people on it. I mean, we can move on, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Wow. I must have been asleep during that show, but okay.
Now, it is funny how you say not funny, but it is when you mention that, because one of the trainings that I do, like we all like, yes, I have my day-to-day job, but what I'm really passionate about is being able to train mental health first aid. And I mean, that's really where my passion lies. So with that one, it completely shifted from an in-person training. And when you do that training in person, the concept is, I mean, you really develop a connection with your audience, whether I'm training 15 people or whether I'm training 50 people, you really develop a connection with your audience. And that whole training has gone virtual. So it's really challenged me as a trainer, as a presenter, to be able to like still develop that connection through the virtual medium, which again is very difficult. So and I will say I'm still learning. The very first time I did the training, I actually texted my co-trainer and apologized. I was like, that was the worst thing. That was the worst performance of this training I have ever given, and I apologize. And her and I have been colleagues for about 7 years. Mm-hmm. And she said, no, you did a fine job. But in my head, it went very poorly because I just didn't have that same vibe. I didn't have that connection with the audience. So I've actually had to kind of give up some of that and recognize that it's going to be a little different. And that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just going to be different.
Right. And it keeps you moving. It takes you out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone requires growth, and growth requires you to have to take
Absolutely.
to make 10 steps forward. Absolutely.
Right. No, I agree.
So let me ask you this, and I know that you've got explained your occupation, explained presentations and being virtual. I know that you're also very involved in the community and have been so for many years. Like we already stated, we've coached together. We've been on a couple boards together as well. And I know you're currently on a board now. Well, how do you feel about how important and how do you feel about community involvement?
I think if you want to be a part of a community, right? Like we said, our kids go to Susquehanna Town, like they go to Susquehanna, we live here. And I think if you have the opportunity, and not everybody has the same opportunities, right? Some people, depending upon your work schedule, depending upon what you have to do, I mean, everybody's opportunity is different. But I think if you look at, especially Susquehanna, I mean, if you look across the board, there's always going to be an opportunity where you can give back in some way, right? Mm-hmm. Even if it's dropping off some food at the Hannah Pantry, or putting in a couple cans of food at one of those stands that sits outside the church where people can drop in, grab something. I mean, that's giving back. I mean, anything that you can do to give back to your community, I think there is a benefit in that. And I think one of the things that I really try to talk about is the fact that it's giving back without the need or desire for recognition, I think is important. I think that's one of the things where I think that's that's missing and lacking in a lot of situations. A lot of people want to be recognized for their volunteer work, or they want to be recognized for the things that they do in their community, which I mean, we all want recognition. It's a human nature. We all want that. But I think when you're talking about how do you give back, or what's the importance of giving back to your community, I think it's those daily little things that go unnoticed but have a huge impact. And if everybody is doing those things, I think that's really where you start to see a community grow.
I like it. Good answer. Good answer. So to follow up that wonderful answer that you just gave, I know you're in therapy and you deal with mental health. How do you think that benefit?
No. I was a therapist. Like, you can't just be like, I know you're in therapy. Like, I was a therapist. It's all about word choice, Clee.
You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I mean, he is in therapy. No, seriously, you're a therapist. I'm sorry. My apologies.
I got you. I knew exactly what you meant.
I already knew the stones were going to be thrown. I already knew that. I'm already prepared. I know you. But you're a therapist and you dealt with mental health. How do you think that helps either the individuals that you help coach, or the boards that you're on, or the community with that experience? Do you think you're able to help out kids or family members or parents who may be going through any kind of situation from just say you're more than a coach? I'll put it that way. You're more than a coach.
Well, I think one of the things that I can say is my background. I'm no longer a practicing clinician at all, and in the field, there's so many people out there. When you're talking about what it means to be a clinician, there's so many people out there that are doing great work. But what I can say is over my career, I have been able to learn a lot, and I've been able to develop, I think, a very strong emotional intelligence. Okay. And it's that recognition that everybody is experiencing challenges. Everybody's situation is different. So I think what it has allowed me to do, and when I talk to, whether it's kids, when I talk to family members, when I talk to friends, I don't step into that role as a clinician. That's not who I am. But I think having the background that I had allows me to have an open mind, and I've really kind of destigmatized what my view of mental health and the recognition. I mean, statistically, 1 in 5 people experiencing a mental health crisis in their lifetime. I mean, you think about that. That's a significant amount of people. Mental health is something that is very normal in our society, and a lot of people experience these issues and suffer in silence because they don't know who to go to. They don't know how to reach out. They don't know all of those things. So I think what my background has allowed me to do is allowed me to, when I interact with people, whether it's a family member, a child I'm coaching, a friend, or somebody in the community, it's being able to understand that they have their situation, they have the background, and I don't know what their situation is. So they may respond to me negatively, they may respond to me and be disinterested in something I have to say. But it's not about personalizing that. It's about recognizing that I don't know what they're going through, right? And sometimes you need to listen, and you need to be open to the fact that everybody's experiencing life different right now, and especially in this field when we're going through COVID. I mean, everybody is going through this. Everybody's experiencing a trauma. This whole thing is a trauma for people, whether or not, I mean, everybody's different definition is a little different, but we're all experiencing some type of trauma and had to change our lives and had to grow as a result of this. So I think we'll start to see people, and we'll start to see the impact of what this last year has been in years to come. So I think it's just really about recognizing and having an emotional intelligence and just being opening to listen.
There we go. All right. And I see on the other page we have Jen Kern's watching, Maddie Morales is on, AJ Darch is on. Thank you, ladies, for tuning in.
Can you kick Jen Kern off? Can you kick Jen Kern off, because she's just gonna make fun of me?
That's good. Please. That's absolutely wonderful. You know, that might be. Yeah. You got to role reverse. Sometimes you just need the people to tell you who you really are. Coach Nate, man, I tell you, man, this guy. So, what kind of a community events have you done? I know you and your family used to travel a lot to do very family-oriented things in the community. This is kind of pre-COVID. Have you guys done anything together in the middle of during this COVID time? Has it been to find events?
I think what it has been challenging to do is not necessarily to go out and find events, because obviously so many events have shut down, right? You're not going out and you're not doing those different things. I think we're not unique. I think a lot of families have done this, and you've really had to take a step back and look at and really come together and grow as a family. Like, I was able to watch, and I know if my kids are watching, they're not going to be happy about this, but I was able to watch my Mason and Elise become friends. Like, and they would like do things and talk, and I'm like, what? Wait, are you sure about that? But we were able to. It really challenged us to be able to be to find things to do as a family. Whether or not, I mean, I think I bought one of those bingo tumblers, and we would do things like that. But just being able to spend time together, being able to enjoy the time you spend together, come up with different things. Yeah, Shayla, like Stacey would post the games we would come up with and play, like just little things like that. So it really wasn't necessarily about going out and searching for things. I think it was this realization that we have a lot of things that we can do here. And we just have to be able to kind of really enjoy coming together as a family.
Gotcha. Coach Steve's on. Shout out to Coach Steve. Said he finds it very hard to be an effective leader without receiving some kind of therapy. I think that's absolutely.
I don't disagree with that. I agree with that 100%.
So do I. People unload on you all the time, and you got to be. Sometimes, it's kind of like filling up a car. You fill up the trunk so that you fill up the trunk of the car so you can go on vacation, but you have to unload that car too, so it can still be effective. The car can't always have that baggage with it.
Oh, a nice analogy. I'm proud of you.
No, I'm cold like that. And that's without being a clinical therapist.
What's the next question?
What's 2 + 2?
What? Whatever I want it to be.
Whatever you want it to be. So it's the Matrix now. You're making it up as you go along. So seriously, back on track though. What gives you the inspiration or the motivation to keep moving forward, to keep waking up and keep doing what you're doing?
I mean, this is probably one of the easier questions you could ask me, and it is my family. You know what I mean? It's they're upstairs, and it's Stacy and Mason and Elise. I mean, you wake up every day you see them, and you're like, it makes me like know why I go to work. It makes me know why I want to come home every day. You know what I mean? Why I want to do anything. Like it truly is. I mean, you can't really elaborate on that one much more, other than the fact that every day that's who gives me motivation to do anything that I do, whether it's in my career or in personal life.
Understand. Good answer. I totally get that. So let me ask you a little bit a difficult question, or what could potentially be a difficult question. Say that I am Doc Brown and I have a DeLorean outside, and it's 1985, and I could go ahead and energize the flux capacitor and make you go back in time. Okay, and you could go back in time, let's say about 10 years, and talk to the 10-year ago version of yourself and have a conversation. And what kind of conversation would you tell the 10-year ago version of yourself if you could do that now?
I think I would go back. No, it's I think about this one. I think I would go back and explain to myself that things are going to be hard and life is going to suck, and you're going to get hit with a lot. And there's going to be challenges, there's going to be successes, but you're at a point in your life where you're young, and there's probably going to be more challenges than successes. And if you continue every day, get up and work every day, you pay your dues and you put that work in. I'm not saying good things just happen to people. That's not what I'm saying at all. No one deserves these things. But if you are going about your day and you're working hard and you're doing what you need to do to improve every single day, good things just don't happen to people, but they come to people that are working hard and doing what they need to do. So I would tell myself that don't get discouraged, because the next 10 years are going to be really hard. They're not going to be the easiest. but I promise you, it'll all pay off.
It'll be worth it, huh?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, that's what it is. You work, I work hard, so someday I don't have to work hard, right? I mean, that's what it is. And then you want to be able to have this whole thing, like the generation. Like I wanted to do better than my parents did, and I want Mason and Elise to do better than I do, and better than Stacy and I. So I mean, that's what you go. So I'm going to work hard now. I'm going to pay my dues, and I'm going to set them up so that they can do better, and then they can do it for their kids and for their kids. And it creates this generation of hardworking people that want to succeed.
Like that. Good answer. Good answer. Part two of this question. Let's say that, one of the kids who you've coached, or one of the kids that may be coming through a program that you're on the board on, never knew this side of you, or never even knew you existed. They never even heard of Coach Nate or Nate Lubold or anything that we learned throughout the course of this live. And they're watching, and they're like, I want to grow up and be just like him when I grow up. What kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say that over the course of your life, there's going to be a lot more people that tell you don't deserve something and that you're not good at it, than there's people that are going to be in your corner telling you that you're going to succeed, right? And if you start to listen to those people that are telling you can't do this, you're not good enough, you're all of these different things, right? Then you're not. Then you won't be those things. You're going to buy into that negativity. And I go back to it. And I say this to the one person in my life that she gave me the most motivation, is probably the one person that I dislike more than anybody, was my high school guidance counselor.
Oh, yeah.
My senior year in high school, she brought me in and she was like, you should probably either go work at the Hershey factory or go into the military. And I was like, oh, and I probably said more things than, oh,
yeah,
but I left her office, and she refused to write a letter of recommendation for me for college. I mean, I wasn't a good student. Again, if I could have easily thought to myself and be like, yeah, she's probably right, but she wasn't. So then I ended up going to college, and I graduated with honors. I ended up getting a master's degree and graduating with honors as well. And now I am where I'm at, trying to give back. But if you listen to that negativity, then where would I have been? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's bad for me to be at the factory, but that wasn't where I wanted to be.
I got it.
So I would tell those up and comers, there's going to be a lot of people that tell you things that you're not good. Let it go and move on.
I like the fact that you kind of touched on things that we talk about on the show, having thick skin as well, because sometimes you're not going to hear the sunflower and roses answer that you want to hear. Someone's going to tell you something that's very off course that it may actually be their opinion of you, but their opinion of you doesn't have to be your reality. And I know, as most athletes or competitors are, if someone tells them something that leaves a bad taste in their mouth, they're going to work probably twice as hard just to say that they can prove them wrong.
I would agree.
Yep. So you talked about up and comers, and I know you and earlier in the live, you talked about how life is challenging, things that challenge you throughout COVID, but how do you challenge yourself on a daily basis?
I mean, I'm always looking for something. You're always looking for a new challenge, right? I go to the gym every morning. So my alarm goes off at 4. I'm out the door by 4:30, and I go to the gym. And I think I challenge myself by I'm constantly trying to get better. And I joke with people, like I'll put on, like sometimes I'll get on the bench and I'll add 2.5 pounds. Well, you know what? If I'm doing 2.5 pounds, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's 2.5 pounds more than I did yesterday. Progress is progress. It doesn't matter if you go up by 2 pounds. It doesn't matter if you go up by 200 pounds. Progress is progress. So I think it's people. I don't look for these huge life events, and that's what's progress to me. It's the little things that often go overlooked. And if you're constantly doing even the little things, whether it's I challenge myself to read every night, well, I do it, right? So it's setting these little goals and being able to accomplish them.
Right. And speaking of you challenging yourself to read, I know we were talking off camera about a book that you're reading. I'm not sure if you were actually planning on discussing it or not, but is there a particular, I know you talked about a guidance counselor that influenced you. Is there a particular book, story, or anything like that has influenced you or changed your course of the life?
I don't know if it changed I mean, the book I'm reading right now is probably the most I find it incredibly fascinating. It's called the Book of Joy. It was written by the 14th Dalai Lama in conjunction with Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and the whole concept is like these two authors faced exile, they faced oppression, and yet have been able to maintain compassion and joy and forgiveness of everyone around them.
Mm-hmm.
The book is about it's the fear, anger, hatred, and the external fear and anger and hatred that people have versus the internal things that people have. So it's really about being able to maintain compassion, being able to maintain your level of forgiveness, and being constantly able looking at the idea of joy, despite all of the atrocities that people go through.
Okay. All right. How far are you along in the book? You just started in the middle? I'm soon to be done.
No, I think I'm soon to be done. I'm soon to be done, and it's probably one of those books that you read multiple times, just to be able to make, because the messages are so profound.
Mm-hmm.
So I think reading it one time is great, but then reading it the second time and the third time, each time you read it, you will learn something new. So I definitely read it, and I enjoyed it and I internalized it, but I didn't hit every message. I know I have to go back and find some more.
Gotcha. And we had a wonderful discussion. A couple shots being thrown. I tried to mind myself. You threw a couple at me, and my feelings are hurt, but it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know.
Remember, have thick skin, Clee.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, you reverse psychology, use it against me. Absolutely. So, but through the course of conversation, is there anything that I forgot to ask you, or has your memory been jogged? Is there anything you would like to say right now? I don't know if I should do this, but I'm gonna let the floor is yours right now.
Oh no. The floor right now. You are the one that does you're the expert in the room when it comes to these things. But no, I will say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come on and talk. I always enjoy getting the opportunity to talk. You and I have these conversations. It's nice to see one another in a different light. You know what I mean? Outside of coaching, outside of those things, have a little bit more of a professional conversation and things like that. So now I really enjoyed myself. So thank you for the opportunity for letting me come on and talk.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for making yourself available, providing good information. Like I don't get to see this side of you that often. We're normally throwing shots at each other very much, and it's fun. We hung out a lot hung out a lot more pre-COVID than, of course, now we kind of see each other in passing. That's kind of like the new norm. Once we hopefully things warm up, we can get things back to how they were and start hanging out again.
Absolutely.
And exchange. We had a couple of good conversations. We had a good conversation today. So I appreciate you making yourself available. Yeah. You know why I do these shows, Nate?
Why?
Well, because I'm going to show you why here in a minute. However,
I was going to say, before you jump off, I appreciate Shayla for doing all of this stuff, because without her, you would just be talking to yourself on YouTube. So Shayla, shout out to you for getting Clee an audience.
I say this often. Sometimes you just can't give people the mic. Sometimes they don't know how to behave when they're out in public. And Coach Nate just proved it to you all and to myself. However, he's still behind the scenes. I'll bring him back on the camera here in a minute. But I do these shows because I put on. And I say that to say this. If you have a business, product, or positive message that you're looking for a platform to get that information out on, inbox me, text me, message me, however you can get a hold of me. Check out the website. It's scrolling below. Send me a message. Let me know, and I will schedule you a time to bring you to the lab, tell everyone to get their pen and their pad, and we will get that information out there. Again, if you have a business, product, or positive message, let me know. Let me know how I can help. I want everyone to evolve so hard and live their life with a purpose, and we're going to get that message out there. But right now, I'm going to bring Coach Nate back. Bam, there he is right there. Coach Nate, I got a special guest coming to the lab. Do you know who they are next week?
I do not know who they are.
You want to take a guess?
You got a special guest coming to the lab next week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're smart, you'd probably give Shayla more screen time, but that's just me. I don't know. Who's coming? Clee, I think you're on mute.
This is how we get rid of, we're not doing that. No, I'm just kidding. No, you got to tune in and see. You got to tune in and see. You got to pay attention.
I will.
Next week, but I do have a special gift for you. This is from me to you. I'll make sure I get this to you for donating your time to come into the lab. I like to go ahead and show my appreciation, and I got a special gift that I'll give to you. So I'll make sure that gets to you. We got to finish the live doing one more thing. Do you remember what we have to do?
Don't make me do. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not.
You have to. We can't end the live unless we do so.
All right. So okay, go for it because I know what I'm going to do. Go for it. Say what you're going to say.
We got to hit him with the money dance, Coach.
No, I'm just going to do this. That's my money dance. Come on, Clee, dance.
Thank you. It's your motivation. You're empowerment coach. You're off. Thank you. Coach Clee coming at you. Stay safe, stay healthy. I love you all. Have a good night. Peace.